Are you ready, kids?
Good morning, USA.
3, 2, 1. And we have liftoff.
Hey, what's going on? This is MC2 Michael Eckelbecker here, your host of The Morning Launch. Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to Eagle on Wave 89, serving America's best. Coming up next, I'm going to be speaking with Major Chretien, the company commander for Bravo Company, First Sergeant Victor Martinez, Company First Sergeant, and Mr. Javier Gutierrez, Base Personnel Manpower Director. We're going to talk a little bit about Bravo Company, what they've got going on. Of course, we're going to recognize our Performer of the Month and chat a little bit about COVID, sponsorship, and so much more. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Good morning. All right, we're kicking off this Commander's Corner with Major Chretien and First Sergeant Martinez. How are you two doing today?
Doing well, thank you.
Good.
Happy to be here.
I'm doing good, MC2. How are you?
Good. It's good to have you back, First Sergeant, and nice to meet you, Major Chretien. Kind of bummed that you're getting in here for the first time right as you're getting ready to move to a new position. But it's great. It's great that you're able to make it in here at least once as the Bravo Company commander. So tell me a little bit first about where you're headed to next.
So I'm going to be taking over as the OPSO for Battalion, so won't be going too far, just one story up.
Gotcha.
But I'll be replaced by the ever-capable Captain Jason Sander. He'll be taking over Bravo Company. I'm excited to see what he does and what he builds on and capitalizes on with an amazing company first sergeant. So. All
right, awesome. Yeah, that's great. And we're going to be talking about a lot of really great stuff today. We've got a little COVID update, chat a little about sponsorship, onboarding, because, of course, it is peak PCS season right now, so we've got a lot of new folks coming in, a lot of people leaving, so a lot of important information to pass there. But let's start off with the COVID update. So we've recently had some pretty significant updates to policies, lots of new things happening. We got the Johnson & Johnson in fairly recently. The Pfizer vaccine is now being distributed to children aged 12 to 17 starting this week. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Fantastic. So by now, everyone's probably familiar with the 3MEF MAR4J mask policy update that went into effect on the 17th. It's certainly been a morale boost across the battalion, and I'm sure across the island. There are a lot of Marines and sailors with smiles on their faces, and we can tell because we can see them now, which is exciting. The important thing for people to remember there is that, if you are not fully vaccinated, mask on and off base at all times. And even for those that are fully vaccinated, we are still required to wear masks off base, just out of respect for our local national partners. You mentioned the Pfizer vaccine, and it's an exciting week for families with children, between the ages of 12 and 17. That kicks out today at U.S. Naval Hospital between the hours of 1500 and 1800. And we have 2 more time slots this week for those children between the ages of 12 and 17. So Saturday between 08 and noon, and Tuesday of next week, May 25th, between 1400 and 1700. So no appointments necessary. No one else will be getting vaccinated during those periods. The children just need to show up with their parent or guardian as well as the DHA form.
Got it. All right, yeah. And I think just a quick note on the off-base mask wearing. It is important to remember that despite the fact that we're starting to see a significant decrease in the number of cases, off-base, they're in a pretty rough state right now. I think I heard that yesterday they hit their highest number of confirmed cases since the beginning of the pandemic. So this is still a very real issue that's going on out there, and just be respectful of that. I think Lieutenant Colonel Gleason put it the best yesterday when he said that it's just about showing that we have respect for our local friends out there, and that we're still with them in this fight. And I think that's really important to remember when we're out there. So, yeah, it's really great to not have to wear a mask when we don't have to, but just make sure when you do, you are. It's
absolutely
simple as that. All right, cool. And let's chat a little bit about sponsorship now. Actually, that's going to be Mr. Gutierrez. So why don't we do some musical chairs here real quick, and then Mr. Gutierrez is going to switch in. So let's talk a little bit about sponsorship. What are some good practices as a sponsor?
So MC2, thank you for having me today. I am Javier Gutierrez from Base Personnel. So a couple of things that we need to be interested in or ensure that we do as a sponsor. Once the unit assigns you as a sponsor, you want to make sure that you engage early. So as soon as you are assigned, what you should do is go sign up for the course via the MCCS Okinawa webpage. You can go online, any of the bases to get the training. Once you've gotten your training, you'll provide us a certificate, and then you'll start the process. So within 10 days or so of being assigned, you should be making contact with the individual to make sure that they know who their sponsor is.
So for the sponsorship training, is that only available to Marines, or can anybody sign up for that?
No, anyone can sign up for that, but normally we're focused on Marines. Mm-hmm. We do deal with sailors, and we deal with civilians inbound to us. I speak only for H&S Battalion.
Got it.
When
Okay.
we talk sponsorship.
All right, great. So what are some things that that we need to keep in mind when it comes to being a sponsor? When we're reaching out, like you said, reach out within 10 days of finding out that you're a sponsor. What are some things that we should be asking or telling our incoming
absolutely
service
right.
member?
So what you're looking for is to find out what the time frame is that they're coming in. Are they single? Are they married? A single individual is obviously easier to take care of logistically, as opposed to married personnel who come with maybe kids and dogs, pets. So you want to find out if they have pets, how many family members, again, time frame that they want to be here. If they have pets, then you got to look at the kenneling aspect of it, lodging for them where they would like to stay, if they have any dietary needs when they arrive, because obviously you've been traveling 2 to 3 days en route here. So when you get here, you want to make sure you have something prepared for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime I've sponsored someone, or anytime I've been sponsored, when I show up to the new place or when my new sponsee shows up, I like to have some snacks available for them. Because like you said, they're getting off a plane after, especially coming out here, a long travel period. So to not have to worry about getting your own food, and especially right now with quarantine or with ROM requirements, they may not be able to go get their own food. So
Absolutely.
yeah, very important to have some stuff prepared for them.
Yes.
Anything else that you should consider?
No, what I would leave you with or just add to it is that regardless if they're single or married, you have to look at yourself as a welcoming committee or party for those individuals, make them feel like they're at home when they arrive to Okinawa so that they start out on a good note. So for those that will be in lodging, whether it's Westpac Inn or Shogun Inn, whatever the case may be, they will allow you to take the food in there. So we recommend at a very minimum 2 to 3 days of worth of food, and then obviously from there you can coordinate what their requirements are after that.
Yep. First impression is a lasting impression.
Absolutely.
All right. And what are some resources that are available to help sponsors who have maybe never done it before, who might want to just do the best that they can as being sponsored?
Right. So we do provide everyone a sponsorship checklist that's about 3 pages long, and we can hang that out there on the H&S website for people to review. But it gives you everything you need to know, from going to get a P.O. box for those individuals that are married, to ensuring, again, we talked about the lodging, the other things that you'll have to do to take them cell phone shopping, car shopping, insurance shopping, maybe even house hunting while they're here. So that's all in the checklist that we provide to each individual that gets assigned as a sponsor.
Got it. All right. And any other good practices, just maybe stuff that's not necessarily a requirement, but something that you would consider doing for a new incoming person if you were a sponsor?
Absolutely. It just seems like a simple thing to do. Just treat folks the way you want to be treated. So it's a family member that you love, right, that's coming here to visit you in a different place. Again, if you start them out right, they'll probably love Okinawa. If you don't, maybe they won't have the fondest memories of arrival.
So, Mr. Gutierrez, are you prior service?
Yes, I am.
Do you have any sponsorship horror stories of?
Unfortunately, I don't have a horror story.
That sounds pretty fortunate. I don't know.
Absolutely. But I've been a sponsor, and I was here on an unaccompanied tour when I sponsored a captain coming in with a family. So even if you're here by yourself, it does not mean that you can't take care of a family who's inbound. So they got here. We took care of those folks. They absolutely loved the place. They enjoyed it.
Got it. And what about you, ma'am? Do you have any sponsors that's from your career that stick out in your mind?
Absolutely. I've been very fortunate, and this is my second time in Okinawa, and both times I had phenomenal sponsors. Mr. G really hit the nail on the head. It's about making people feel like they're part of the team as soon as they get here. It really does have the potential to set the tone for somebody's tour of duty in Okinawa. That first 96 hours, in our case, that first 14 days that you're in ROM aboard the installation, it's a critical time. It's a new country, it's a new place, and bringing them into the fold, making them feel welcome up front is huge. It's a big thing. Task Force PCS, is another great resource right now. We're in our third full week of operations, assisting Task Force Safeguard and ensuring that all of our newly arrived personnel or those returning from travel to Okinawa are tested on time. They're able to get out of ROM appropriately and accordingly. But Task Force PCS is also responsible for outreach to our families and service members stateside who are in receipt of orders and are inbound to Okinawa. So I'd encourage anyone serving as a sponsor, in addition to some of the other resources, to visit the Task Force PCS Facebook page, share it with their sponsees. It's going to continue to be a wonderful resource as we tackle PCS season. And a lot of the resources and mentions that Mr. G just had will be captured there, and it'll be a great place for sponsors to continue to check and see updates.
Yeah, and we've got some more agencies to talk about in just a little bit, some more great resources that you can introduce your incoming service members to. So stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, we got First Sergeant back on here now. We're going to chat a little bit about some great resources that are available that you should introduce your oncoming service members to. So we're talking about the onboarding process. First Sergeant, what are some of the first resources that you direct people to?
So when we get new Marines on island, I always try to direct them towards the USO, the SMP, the Credo programs, as well as the Ed Center. I remember coming over here as a young Marine, and when they think about taking care of you, your more seasoned Marines in your unit, they think about taking you to a bar, kind of pointing you in a direction where you might find some trouble, and that's not necessarily what we want to do with our Marines, all right? We want to point them towards some of the agencies that you may not be familiar with, but they do have outstanding resources. The USO is one of them. They do everything from webinars where you can actually meet up with famous celebrities, ask them questions, to financial webinars where you have an expert on the other end where they can actually tap into those resources and get some guidance from them. So the USO is an awesome thing that I think is underutilized in some cases with our new Marines. Another good thing that we have out there is the SMP program, the Single Marine program. They do everything from game tournaments to cleanups around the base. You name it, the SMP has it. Great resource for those single Marines, whether you're just here unaccompanied or you're a brand new Marine to the island and you're not married. Utilize those services. They got Wi-Fi in those facilities. They have billiards. You name it, they got those in those facilities. And one that I just found out recently about, I'm kind of ashamed to talk about it, but I've been in the Marine Corps almost 15 years now and never utilized the Credo program till this year. It's a phenomenal experience to utilize.
Which program did you go through with them?
So I went to the Kafu Resort.
Okay.
We did the family retreat, and it was amazing. We stayed in a 5-star hotel, had a ton of activities to do, and it was just a time to be unplugged away from phones, devices, and everything, and just spend quality time with your family.
Yeah, I think that is one of those programs that I think it's one of the most incredible programs that is offered out here, and I think it is one that a lot of people just don't know about, which is surprising to me. I've had Chaplain Adams in here a few times to talk about it now, and every time we get people in here and talk about their experience, it just sounds amazing. And the coolest thing about it is those retreats like that, you don't have to take leave to do that. It's command sponsored, so it's paid vacation time essentially, and time to get closer with your family with a lot of really, like you said, the great classes. And yeah, I'm a big advocate for that. I haven't had the opportunity to do one myself yet, but I definitely plan on doing one in the future, because to get out of here knowing about it, to not do it, it's practically a crime. Just taking it away from yourself.
Definitely. And what I did find out about working here at headquarters and support battalion, they do them for single Marines as well.
Really?
We actually just sent, I believe it was 50 Marines to one at one of the resorts in Ona, and they were able to do the 4 lenses, the love languages. They learned a crap ton of skills that pretty much will help them just being a good human.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like I said, most people don't know about it because when they think of Credo, they think of religion. It's not necessarily religion. It's improving yourself as a person.
Yeah.
Last but not least, the Education Center. Our Education Centers here in Okinawa are top notch. They have everything from 3D printing, an innovation lab. They have musical instruments. They have movies you can rent. They have video games you can rent, books you can rent. You name it, those centers have those. And they're amazing opportunities. So instead of just, grabbing your new Marine, taking them out to the bar, which I'm not condoning by any means, take them to these resources, because you can actually make a way better product out of your new Marines and set them up for success. A lot of these programs offer volunteer hours where you can get an LOA out of it. You can get involved in things that you necessarily may not have even known of, build those community relationships, and take care of those things, all right?
Yeah, and that's not to say don't take your new Marine or new sailor to your favorite ramen shop and show them some off-base places, but you really can't beat the resources that we have available on base if you're using them right. And we talk about the USO, and I'm pretty sure if you have a car, or maybe even if you're really skilled at the Green Line, you could go pretty much a whole week of eating food without paying any money. Like, USO has so many free food events.
Oh yeah.
You could save a lot of money if you're utilizing the USO correctly, and you keep an eye on their calendars. And Single Marine program too. They've constantly got events going on for single service members, and I think that's an important thing to touch on. Also, for the Single Marine program, it's called Single Marine program. It's open to all services, so airmen, soldiers, sailors can all take advantage of Single Marine program events as well, and become part of the program and help to just improve quality of life. Like that's their big thing. They want to improve quality of life for all the single service members out here, and that includes unaccompanied service members. So if you're married but your family isn't here with you, you can take advantage of those programs as well. So for those who have incoming service members who may be coming in unaccompanied, or especially when it comes to junior service members, make sure that they know what is out there for them. I think that's the big thing to get across.
Absolutely, and I think one other thing to kind of keep in mind is that a lot of times we talk about onboarding and welcoming new members to our ranks. One of the things that I've loved most about the Marine Corps are the people that I've met. People that I probably never would have crossed paths with in my ordinary life. And I think a lot of these programs we've referenced, USO, SMP, Credo, it's an opportunity to meet folks outside of your unit, outside of your branch of service, people that you might have a lot in common with, and you can build camaraderie with, you can build community with, outside of just the folks in your section. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity for Marines to get out there and meet fellow service members, meet folks from other branches, and really just build relationships.
I think that another really great thing that you can do is we talked about this a little bit before we went live, actually, about how there's basically a community out there for anything that you'd want to do. There's a community for it on Okinawa. So find out what your incoming service member likes to do and do a little bit of research for them in advance. I was telling these folks here, I just learned about the rock climbing community relatively recently. Been here for like 2 years, and I love rock climbing, but I haven't done it because I just found the community. Had I, had the wherewithal to tell my sponsor, hey, I like rock climbing, is there anything out there? And he could have looked into it for me, and I could have maybe started rock climbing as soon as I got here and been a little bit more, a little bit deeper into the community. But we've got so many different things available, not just off base, but on base too. Like, I'm constantly told by people that I tell people, I talk to my friends, let them know that I'm in a play, and they're like, how are you in a play? I'm like, I'm with the on-base theater company. And we have on-base theater? Like, yes, we do. And people don't know that. People who have been here for years have never heard of us. And that just goes to show that there are more resources available to us than you could possibly tell your incoming service member. But if you do a little bit of research and make sure they know where to go to find their own resources as well, that's a big help.
Absolutely.
So, ma'am, we kind of already got First Sergeant's answer about the Credo. But if there was one thing, what's one program you wish you would have known about sooner when you got to Okinawa?
I think USO, to be honest. And I mean, we all know what USO is. We've all heard of it. They've been around forever. I mean, they are a historical organization. But really, the amount of things that they put on. We talk a lot about service members and what service members can do, but a lot of us are out here with our families as well. The amount of events that they put on for families, for children, it's incredible. They'll have paint nights, they'll have arts and crafts. So it's a great opportunity for folks to get out there, spend some time, some quality time with their kids in an environment, especially now with COVID. There hasn't been a lot that you could do indoors off base, right? So you could still hike, you could still go to the beach, still access all the amazing parks on Okinawa. But there wasn't a lot for kids indoors. And the USO really filled a void, filling an important service. So I wasn't aware of that when I first got here. I've had the opportunity to work with them really closely in the capacity as the company commander. And I'm constantly just in awe of what they provide for our service members, but also for our families.
See, that's a tough answer for me because, I was fortunate enough to get thrown on the radio pretty much as soon as I got to Okinawa. So I get to talk to all of the organizations and learn about what they've going on. But I'm sure there's something out there that's not getting the advertisement that they need. That's something that could be taking advantage of AFN that is probably an awesome program. So just constantly be on the lookout. If you find something that's interesting, let your incoming service members know. Tell your friends about it so that they know, because You may let somebody who's been here longer than you know about a service that you just found out about, and they might not know about it either, and it could change their life.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Like I said, these programs are for our new Marines. They're for the Marines that we do have on island to utilize. You're using them to integrate the Marines and show them about the culture, show them what's available for us. The USO, SMP, Credo, Library, they're all amazing examples of what cultures we have over here, of what we have as an institution. So utilize those programs, take advantage of them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, is there anything else that you two want to talk about on this subject?
No, I think that just about covers it.
All right, great. Then let's take a quick music break so we can get a hold of our Performer of the Month. Stay tuned. We'll be recognizing an outstanding Marine here shortly on Commander's Corner. In the meantime, we're going to listen to some music from Scotland James Arthur. All right, and it's time for our favorite part of the show where we recognize the Performer of the Month. So first, Sergeant, tell me about this month's performer.
All right, so this week's Performer of the Month is Corporal Hannah Mellon from our Camp Foster precinct for PMO. What she has done during this period has been she stood as the watch commander for PMO as well as an RFI Marine. A watch commander is typically a staff NCO billet, but we have a Corporal Marines performing that billet at a high capacity. She did it flawlessly during a high-level period where it was extremely stressful and everything. She serviced over 100 calls that ranged from everything from traffic violations, alarm response, medical assist, all the way to criminal activities. So she did that as a Corporal Marines. As well as she was in charge of the RFI. RFI is ready for issue. She gives our police officers, pretty much, their gear loadout, which may be a radio, taser, weapon system, their rounds, whatever they may need. She's in charge of issuing that to our police officers every day. So she does that every day with a smile on her face, just phenomenally. Additionally, she's the center of gravity for her shift. She maintains constant visuals on her Marines, making sure that they're mentored, that they're prepared for the worst of scenarios that could happen. Lastly, she sets the example for her Marines. She shows her Marines what right looks like, and teaches them to have attention to detail and do things within their law enforcement jurisdiction. On her off-duty time, she's a student currently at the University of Maryland with a 4.0 GPA, and she was just recently accepted to LSU to go into the interior design program as well as pre-architect. On her off time, you can often find her at Kadena Carrying Kennels, where she assists with pet boarding, doing anything from cleaning the kennels, taking care of those animals, as well as maybe even entertaining those animals while she's over there. Lastly, this is one that I find very exciting. She plays forward for Galacticos FC, which is one of the soccer clubs here on Camp Foster that our administration chief actually runs. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing. I'm a huge soccer fan, so it was definitely entertaining to see that.
Wow, that's quite a rap sheet. And we've got Corporal Mellon on the phone with us today. How are you doing today, Corporal?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing well. Thanks so much for joining us. So,
of course.
You must also be able to juggle with all of these different things that you got going on.
Just a little bit. I could get better.
So, I don't even know where to start. There's so much I could cover here. I guess I'll start off with some selfish advice that I want to ask for. I'm getting ready to move off base for interior design. Do you have any basic tips for me?
Honestly, I don't. For UMUC, I actually have been studying general studies because, any school can accept a general study. So I haven't really studied interior architect or interior design at all. So I don't have any tips yet. I'll be doing that at LSU.
Well, dang, that's a bummer. I'll have to keep your contact information then.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about what it's like to maintain such a... You've got a busy schedule, but it's clearly full of things that you're very passionate about. So how do you make room for all of your extracurriculars as well as being an outstanding performer during your workday?
So it's a lot of planning. You have a 12-hour day for PMO, so then after that you have to plan from there. Being night shift is kind of hard fulfilling that duty because you sleep during the day and most people are awake during the day, so it's kind of hard with that. But you just make it work. You just give up sleep sometimes and you just go ahead and do, carrying kennels or soccer, all the activities that I enjoy doing.
I'd say do what you love. You never work a day in your life.
Of course.
Do you have any advice for anyone out there, any of your peers or your subordinates who would like to achieve your level of accomplishment?
Honestly, one of my main mentors, Sergeant Major Quadro, I was in the Philippines, and one thing that she told me that really stuck with me and made me a successful NCO was have a reason for everything that you do. When you have a reason for everything you do, you're never gonna have anything wrong because you'll be doing the right thing because you have a reason for that thing you're doing or anything like that.
Find your why. Good advice.
Of course.
All right, and lastly, is there any songs you'd like to hear today?
Just The Way You Are by Bruno Mars.
All right, you got it. Thanks so much for joining us today again, Corporal. Have a great day.
Yes, sir. You too. Thank you.
All right. Anything else that you two would like to add about our Performer of the Month or any of the performers out there?
Hey, she's been phenomenal. I just want to give her another shout out. Corporal Mellon is a top performer over at PMO, and really just what we expect from our NCOs. I mean, she is someone who is leading by example. She is someone who is not only performing at a high level professionally, but taking time in her off time to contribute positively to the community. And that's ultimately what we ask of all of our Marines.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just always excited when I see an NCO rise to the occasion and do the things that Corporal Mellon's doing. So kudos to you. Continue doing your thing.
All right, and thank you both for coming in today. Appreciate it. Also, thank you to you, Mr. Gutierrez, over there on the couch. Appreciate you coming in. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we close the show out for today?
No, really appreciate the opportunity. Again, my last week as company commander, so just a shout out to the entire company for the opportunity to serve them over this last year. It's been an incredible experience. I've loved getting to know as an intel officer. Don't have a lot of experience with some of the other MOSs, and really seeing the breadth of how our Marines contribute effectively to this camp and to the island has been absolutely inspiring, and I couldn't have asked for a better experience, couldn't have asked for better people to do it with. My motivated company first sergeant, our company Gunny Ray. It's just a phenomenal team, and I'll be sad to hand over the guidon next Thursday.
Well, thank you, ma'am, and good luck in your new position.
Appreciate it.
All right, First Sergeant, I'm sure I'll see you again.
Absolutely, MC2.
All right,
I'm always
coming
excited to see you.
Have a great day.